everybody, welcome back to another episode of Sundaze with the Versaces. It's your boy Clyde D.
And your girl, Shami.
Guys, I just want to take this time to thank each and every one of you for liking, subscribing to our channel, sharing our videos, commenting. We really appreciate all the love. But before we get into today's episode, you know we're going to give you that drop of Jesus.
Guys, today our scripture is found in Isaiah 41 verse 10, and it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God."
Yes,
So
hallelujah.
it's time.
Hallelujah.
It's time to introduce today's special guest.
And
So
literally-
mense, hy het al die weg van Johannesburg af ingevlieg om met ons te kom gesels.
Following all the way, guys. All the way.
He is a man of many hats.
Yes, he is.
He is a well-known actor on our TV screens. He is an author.
Yes.
He's a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
He's the CEO of the Fatherhood Foundation. He's like one of that slashers.
I know that people that does a lot of things, but still take the time to motivate people out
And it's
there.
not keeping
I
us
think so.
stressed.
Let's bring him on. Let's bring him on.
Let's put our hands together for Zane Meas! Woo! Zane!
Hey everybody!
Welcome,
I'm a
Zane.
slasher. I'm a slasher.
The Titus is just coming in.
Coming with tears. I like it.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
perfectly
You
fine.
can just chill and
You can still
relax.
see you're still hot. So it is tea.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
We well.
Very well,
Thank you
very
so
well.
much for having me on the show.
Ah, you're welcome.
You know,
We're the ones
with the Versaces.
Yes! We're really privileged to have you with us today. Thank you so much for taking the time to
No,
come and
thank you
chat
for
with
having me.
us.
Yeah.
But before we get, I have a question. Before we start anything, I just want to know. Do you ever get called Uncle Neville? Mr. Mankies? Does that still happen?
Yes, just today still. In fact, if I had 1 cent for every time I got called that, I'd be a millionaire.
Wow!
Really.
That was with the paid gig,
We
man.
were on the show for 12 years, so people remember it.
I think so.
You know, like
Yo, of course, yes.
That was his
you were in their houses for 12 years, they're not going to forget.
I think we need someone with a hat next to you, so that they naam hoor en dan...
Iemand moet me net betaal vir daai.
Yeah.
Right.
Every time.
Okay, Zane, tell us, where did this all start for you?
Man, becoming an actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said the slashing part.
Yes.
No, you know, I was in high school when the teacher recognized my talent and said I should go study drama. So I was one of 5 kids in our school who got a university exemption. So I went to go study drama, which was a big thing for my family because they wanted me to study something else.
Okay.
But then I went to study drama and it all started from there. My 3rd year at varsity, I got my first professional gig and traveled the world a bit. And came back and then started in The Game, the TV series, The Game. And yeah, that's how it started. That's literally how it
Just
started.
everything to go from there.
Yeah.
That was the one
Lovely.
break. Was that your first leading role inside in a
Yes.
soap, or that was the first?
Absolutely.
Very first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember back then there weren't soapies, eh? There was no.
Oh, yeah.
We had Dallas and that was weekly.
Yeah.
And so The Game was also weekly. And it was about rugby, which South Africans are
Yes.
mad
Yeah.
about.
Crazy
So,
sport.
and I told the story of the first black or / brown guy to become a Springbok. That was our story.
Okay.
Which Errol Tobias, of course,
Yeah.
didn't realize. So it was but telling his story as it were, you know.
Nice.
So I became well known early on in my career.
So I believe you're doing this for over 33 years.
It's 33 years now, can you believe it? Eh? Sure.
That's fine.
Fun lines when you're having fun.
Okay, so Zane, is there anybody specific along your journey that has inspired you?
Well, it's not so much there are people obviously, but it was more in the beginning about places. Like for example, the Market Theatre. Our teacher used to take us to the Market Theatre in Joburg
Yeah.
to go watch shows there. So I was so mesmerized by theatre. You weet, ons groei mos op in die hoed and you don't often go to theatre. So that just and I wanted to act on that stage, and I've done like 5 or 6 shows since then at the Market. And the very first play that I did as a student was at the Market. So,
Okay.
and then commercials. I wanted to be in a TV ad, because if you're in a TV ad back then, there was no soapies. So the TV ad was the thing. If you're in a TV ad, you go, aren't you that guy in that Omo ad or that market ad for ben je nou wat afhardlopen in de straat?
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do.
You made it now, huh?
Wow, that didn't happen for me. Ads done that.
Okay.
3 years, I've only done 2.
Must have
Was it
Only 2. It was a Toyota ad and a butter ad. I think. I don't even know.
You got
But
check
I haven't done ads.
It was a well-known butter, no?
There was a mall. What was that?
Use me in ads. I'm that kind of actor.
Please, Zane really want to be in the ad. I think we're gonna put him in our promos.
No, I'm getting lots of promos. Promos are different. I'm
Okay,
gonna
is
get
that a
paid.
product
Yeah.
I'm gonna get paid to say, drink
Jacobs.
Versaces.
Do that.
You
Pick
know?
up the cup and say, guys, subscribe to the Versaces.
Guys, subscribe to the Versace.
There we go. That's an ad. We unfortunately cannot pay at this current moment as soon as we make it.
Yeah, man, should I don't care.
Zodra ze het maakt, dan is hij eerst.
Okay, so but I then ended up being on a soapie for 12 years here with the land, 3 years on Isidingo.
Yes.
Scandal, I also did a naam on Binnenland, and on Binnenland I acted with my very first mentor, Ben Kruger, who sadly has just passed away from COVID-related thing. And it, you know, Ben was the very first person to give me advice about acting on TV.
Okay.
In fact, about acting in general. So he was really my mentor and my friend, and I'm very sad to see that he had died. But going to the theatre, I saw people like John Carney, and there was another actor called Kurt Eaglehoff.
Okay.
Kurt Eaglehoff, one of the first brown people on stage. Kurt Eaglehoff and who else was there? There was Natalia De Rocha, his wife. Saw them on stage and I went, wow, and I got to meet them. You know, like people meet me today going, oh, never. I met them going, oh, I saw you in that play.
Yeah.
And I just realized they're just down to earth people.
Yeah.
And when people meet me, they also realize that we just people.
Excel will not
You just know my job.
Excel,
You just know my job.
And the different
So-
characters
so-
that you play.
But growing up, my father bought me a projector. We used to show movies at the house. People used to come watch movies at the house.
Okay.
Like this,
Okay.
like what you have here now.
Yeah.
We'd put the screen up there and people would come and buy popcorn from my mum and them and we'd watch movies. And so I suppose it was destined that I would also
Yeah.
become an actor because
Hulle die platform geset,
I
né?
saw the movies and I thought,
Yeah.
you know, watching these movies and going, wow, that must be interesting to do, and now I do that for a living. So that was a seed, I suppose, that my
Yeah,
father
was
planted.
Mm.
So yeah, that is my inspiration for being an actor, I suppose. You know,
That's good. So like Sean said,
today, obviously, there are people I look up to and admire,
Yeah.
locally and overseas.
Yeah.
But back then, we didn't really have that many acting role models. You know.
okay. So as Shaman said in the intro that you were slasher, man of many hats. I want to know, so being a husband, a father, an actor, motivational speaker, and the CEO of the Fatherhood Foundation, how do you manage your time? How do you split yourself up?
There's more than one of me.
Is it?
No, I'm just kidding.
Clone version.
Clone myself. No, you know what? It's a God thing. It's a God thing. When God, I speak a lot on career and calling. My career is being an actor. My calling is fatherhood. And within both of them, there are offshoots that happen that God allows to happen. So, under fatherhood, I wrote a book called Daddy Come Home. I made a movie called Father, but it also ties in with my career of acting because I acted in the movie and I wrote the movie. And we've got 4 films that we want to produce on fatherhood. Now we're about to just speak to some funders about the second one. So it all ties in together. When you walk in God's calling and you walk under His anointing, all things are possible.
Yes.
You look at David. David was not only a shepherd, but he killed giants, he killed bears and lions. He was a psalmist, a songwriter. He was a great lover. He was That's how God creates us. God creates us. And I keep telling men this when I mentor men. I say, listen, you're a clip, man. You're not just one-dimensional.
Yeah.
You got to be this father that's just tough the whole time. I said, no. Laugh with your kids. Date your wife again. I know my kids at night, when I go to bed, I play guitar for them before they go to sleep.
Nog 'n slasher.
You know?
Okay.
But I play for me.
Okay. We're going to bring you on here to come and do it for a jam session. Playing on bass.
No, not
Musician, you?
not for public. Not for public, just for my kids.
Okay.
So you know, and I've written an album, an Afrikaans album that won an award.
What is going on here? Like we've got to put that in the intro, guys.
Ik is anyone to sing
But as I said, you don't think about
Yeah.
doing 5 things. You just go, I need to do this. It's an outlet for what God is placing in me. Let me just. And I've learned that. Nah? That you can get spiritually and artistically constipated. Unless, when God gives you something, unless you get that thing out. And it doesn't have to go into an album or movie. You must just write it down and have it somewhere. God can't plant the next thing.
Yeah.
So I've written the
Makes
book
sense.
so that the next book is ready, but also the movie and the songs come. So I've put the songs on a CD. So now I've got more. And that's how it works. And if you keep it to yourself and you go, I'm too shy to let this thing, or you become spiritually constipated, you'll stay at that level.
Yeah.
So for whoever's out there, you've got to let that thing go. Write it, your poetry, your book, your songs, whatever it is. I don't know what it is that you need to do artistically or a talent that God has given you, like baking or doing a TV show like this, or whatever. If you don't do it, you can't get the next level.
Yes.
This is level 1, and next level 2 is you got your own studio with a studio audience and
Live audience.
Hallelujah. We receive it.
and you're also on YouTube, but you're also on the TV channel.
Yeah.
You understand? But you got to first do this to get there.
Yeah.
True.
So that's what it
Absolutely.
is, and that's what I'm saying. It's a God thing. I take no credit.
Yeah.
You see, when I was at varsity, I hated academics. I couldn't write. I just used to get 52% to pass, because back in varsity, 52% was a pass. So I made sure I got 52, just to get through.
Just the pay
Now 33%.
Because what I wanted to do was act.
Yeah.
I wanted to act, man. Keep the academics and really die papier. I want to act.
Yeah.
Now I can't stop writing. Because now the time is right.
Yeah.
Now God's going to serve you, Lord. Book 1. Manual, just today we did training, Morgan and I. That came out of the movie, the book came, and just all sorts of stuff, you know. It's a God thing, it's got to be God. You trust God.
It's
you
amazing.
Definitely. I love it. I love it.
Amazing.
So Zane, is there any actor or actress internationally that you would like to collab with, that you've always wanted to, or in the near future still would like to?
Halle Berry.
Say it again.
My wife's going to watch this.
She is gonna win.
If my wife is going to watch this, then
Change it now.
Charlene Surti Richards. I love her dearly. She's a good friend of mine.
Sy is op TikTok, ek sien verder.
Ja, sy's 'n
Sy
goeie
maak
vriend van
lieflike
my.
grappe nou.
Listen, I must tell you, you will talk about wanting to work with overseas people, but the people I've worked with here in this country, like Vanette Ibrahim, Charlene Surti Richards, Anne van Roy,
Osinaya.
all of these, I've worked with talented people. I'm just going, why would I want to go work with Viola Davis or Halle Berry? You gotta say her name.
Don't say it like that.
You have to
You
say
can't
it
say
like
Halle Berry. It doesn't
Nee,
work.
dat is
Halle
jy.
Berry.
Yeah, drop your chin. It's
Halle Berry. You know, anyway. So we've got such talented people here that I don't miss
Also
working
true.
with those guys. I've worked with
Okay.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay.
I've been in a movie with Samuel L. Jackson and other American actors, but I just go, there's some South African actors, Shawn Michaels, Lion Newton, John Carney, and all, who's now doing American movies,
Yeah.
and that you just go, wow, I'm working with these guys. And they stand toe to toe with those guys.
Yeah.
You know, so.
So you would put our people on the same level.
But if you were to put me in a movie
Yes.
with any of those people,
Is that the one?
I'm there. I'm there. Outside.
Guys, dig in, guys.
Outside. Come on. I
So
mean,
just subscribe to our channel, so if you're watching,
Halberg.
if you're watching, please
Say
reach
that
out
you
to us and we'll get in contact with Zane.
Yes. Say
Okay.
wat jy kyk sê.
yeah.
Ons gaan dit nog begin. Okay, so now on that note,
It's game time.
Oh, game time. What's
It's
that?
game time.
it's game time. You
Okay.
need to let your wires need to work fast.
Can I call my friend?
Nee, dat kan niet. Dat is
This is just for you.
Just
So how the
because-
game works is we give you 60 seconds. 60
Yes,
seconds,
60 seconds.
and you have to answer as many questions as you can.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Okay. I'll put up the 60 seconds over here.
There's no right or wrong answer, it's your answers. But we wanted people to get to know you a bit other than what they just see, you know?
Okay.
Okay. Timer is ready. Okay, are you ready?
What's the
I
time?
can't, there's no time to phone a friend here.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Let's go.
Niemand can help me.
Okay, let's go. 3, 2, 1.
Done.
Hit.
What is your favorite color?
Blue.
Do you prefer mountain or sea view?
Both.
Home cooked meals or takeaways?
Home cooked always.
What is your favorite saying?
What it is what it is.
If you could only eat one type of food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
The chicken curry for my sisters and my wife.
Finish the sentence, love is.
Unconditional.
If you could be an animal, what would it be?
Black Panther.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Black Panther.
Do you prefer being barefoot or wearing shoes?
Oh no, barefoot for sure.
Do you save or spend?
I spend.
Would you rather have 10 hobbies or one passion?
I'll have one passion. I love that. Yeah.
What is the most beautiful place you've ever been to?
Cape Town? What? No. Well, I've been to quite a few places. Cape Town.
Okay, if money was no object, what would you buy?
And stop.
Yes, that's the one!
Maar hij was goed.
Cool.
How many questions did you have?
That will be revealed on the show. You know why? Because you're actually up against others.
Yeah. So you have.
And there's a leaderboard.
And
So
we'll
if
You should have said that.
There's no second chances. Well done for being a good sport.
I'm a chicken curry person. Man. Chicken curry.
I'm telling you, no.
Chicken curry.
Yeah, that's their favorite.
With some roti
Yeah.
or naan. No, you gotta just stop it.
100%.
Yeah, that's the best
That's the best.
combination.
That's the best. So I want to know. So I want to know also just off topic. So as an actor that starred in movies and all those things, what kind of movies do you watch? Comedies, action,
I
What's your
watch
preference?
rom-coms?
all of it. I love all genres
Okay.
because I watch a rom-com. I love comedies. Obviously, everyone loves to laugh. I love me an action movie. I'm a big fan of Denzel. You know, my man, Denzel. You know, Samuel M.F. Jackson.
You can't say so.
Yeah, you can't.
That's the one,
Yeah. Samuel Jackson. Kevin Hart's very funny. I find he's at the prime of comedy at the moment now. Kevin Hart. But I love to watch movies that inspire me also. You know. This every genre. I don't pick even sci-fi. I'm a Star Trek fan, not Star Wars. I'm a Trekkie. Okay, so I love Star Trek, for example. I've never watched any Harry Potter movies. I've never watched any of the 50 Shades movies. I've So there's stuff that I don't watch. There's like things that I don't watch any horror movies at all. I'm not a horror fan at all. It's not something I enjoy.
No, it's lovely to hear that you actually do watch TV. I mean, your schedule is busy.
No. So I'm a big fan of downloading and apps and apps.
Yes.
Like the Chosen app at the moment is my favorite. Okay, so I download stuff. So Netflix is good for me. Apple TV,
Yes.
Prime Video,
Yes.
all of that. That's
So on your own time.
So on the plane.
Yes.
On the plane.
Traveling, yeah.
Trying to talk. My wife is fallen asleep and I'm still awake. You
Yeah.
know. If I'm not reading, I read voraciously. I read 3 books at a time. I've got
Wow.
a book in the morning, my devotional, a book in the evening to fall asleep, and one in my bag that I always carry. But if I'm not reading,
Yeah.
then I'll catch up. I'll catch up on series like I'm watching The Rookie now, for example. I'm watching The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I finished watching that. So certain things I watch, and then certain stuff I just like Harry Potter or horror movies or that. I just go no.
Stuff with the wands and stuff.
Magic man.
And this is good, but I
Yeah, agree. So Zane, I want to know, when did the Fatherhood Foundation start? How did that come about?
Again, it's a God thing, a calling on my life. But it started with my own family. I've got 3 sisters who are single parents. And they got kids. And many of those children see me as their dad. Or father figure, I should say, not as their dad, as the father figure. And I know their fathers. And I always wondered, why did those guys not come back and look after their kids? And in our church, we didn't have a men's ministry, so I first started the men's. I asked the pastor, could I start the men's ministry to speak to men's issues? And then out of that developed not just speaking to men, but specifically to fathers, because I realized the importance of the role of a dad in the house.
Yeah.
And I didn't want other children to grow up without a father like my sisters did, whatever. And they're phenomenal women. They're not ashamed to us.
Yeah.
They
Strong.
brought their kids up by themselves. They're strong sisters. I always say I take my hat off to all the single mothers in South Africa, because if it wasn't for them, I don't know where this country would be. This country is made strong by single moms. So we mustn't feel, of course we mustn't condone that they're single moms, but we mustn't feel sorry for them, because they're empowered women. So that's where it came from. Then I started doing research, and I found that 2/3 of our homes are single parent homes. 2/3! And that's, out of that came the research I was doing. I started writing it down, and the book came out of that. Daddy, come home. Don't be out in the street or in the Shabin or the Smokkel house or whatever. Your first place of influence is in the house. That's the greatest place of any man's influence. Not in business or in the world or whatever. In the house. If you can be successful there, you can be successful anywhere. God spoke to me about that, and I, you know, it wasn't something I wanted to do and say, oh, I'm going to go take on this crusade. I came to it via, and you know, I knew nothing. I knew nothing about fatherhood when I started, but now I've written books.
Yes.
You know, people need someone to speak on fatherhood. They call me, and
That's amazing.
again, just listen to God's voice. I was dumb enough to listen to God's voice, because some people get too clever. They must study, you see, and they got a degree. Some of them have honorary degrees from some university, so they're doctors or professors or whatever. And because they've got this, or they have so many people in their church, you know, no, I'm not bashing anyone, but just shush sometimes and just listen to what God wants. Yes, listen to what God wants. And I was dumb, luckily I always say this, ek was onkundig genoeg om na die Here te luister. I was dumb enough to say, okay Lord, which way now, what? Because I'm lost here. And out of that was birthed something that...
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story. Now, seeing that you're speaking about books, is there any future books?
Yes.
Anything, future projects?
I finished writing, and it's not edited yet. And my second book is called Happy Family, Happy Nation, because as the family is, that's how the nation will be.
Yes.
And it's also a call to families, to men to take their place and restore that vision of families. And because a landscape of family has changed now. Like I said, there's single parent families with mums. There's child-reared households. There's dads who look after kids by themselves.
Yeah.
There's mummy households now. There's daddy households. So the landscape has changed, but I go back to the way God designed it. Psychologists have proven that that's the best way for a child to grow up, in a two-parent home. They get all the love, they get all the strength, they get all the nurturing, psychologists have proven it, society, research has proven it, a two-parent home, male and female, is the best house to grow up in for development of children. The world is telling us something else at the moment, you know, with the different genders that you can ascribe to and all of that, but research has proven that the age-old way it was written in the Bible and the way we grew up, not, you know, the bad patriarchy. People always say patriarchal societies are bad. I'm saying, wait, there's good patriarchy. Not all patriarchy is bad. Not all masculinity, toxic masculinity. I say yes, but there's positive masculinity. We've got to try to tap into that.
Definitely.
And fix things. So that's what my book deals with. The book deals with that. I have written a book that goes with my movie Father. My wife and I are writing a book together about our journey together as husband and wife and our children. That's going very slow, because just to get my wife and I to sit.
And you're like excited.
We've got to write the book. No, we first got to help the kids with their homework.
Yeah.
I've got to get the lunch ready for tomorrow. And you must do this, and it's no time to get sit down.
But it's in process, yeah.
But it's just, as I said, it all just flows one into the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
It happens organically.
Lovely.
Yeah.
The world is your oyster.
Yeah.
It sounds like you just began. I know 33 years we've
Can
mentioned.
you?
It feels as if
Yeah.
it always begin.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Always.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So Zane, I know you've given us a lot of little nuggets here and there, but what advice can you give to young people watching? And the reason why I'm asking you this question, I'm not sure if you mentioned it earlier, but your acting career started because a teacher believed in you. I've heard and what I've read that you Not your family, nor your friends. Nobody believed in the fact that you can actually do what you are doing today. I mean, that's what paved the way for you. But it's because a teacher or somebody that had that much confidence and belief in you has obviously made that you move into that direction. So I'm just wanting to, based on that, where you come from and how it's opened a world for you.
Yeah.
What advice can you give?
What advice can I give to young people? Find yourselves positive role models. That's a good thing for me.
I like that.
In my book, I write, I quote a guy called Ed Cole that says, boys will join gangs because they don't belong to a gang called family, led by a leader called father. You know, so children don't have the role models that they should have to make them become something in life. And not everybody needs to be rich or famous or successful. No, that's what we're saying. But you're successful in your own way. But kids don't even get a leg up because there's no example at all. So if you don't have that at all, find yourself positive role models. People who've walked that path. People who've gone. I'm telling you, I don't know anyone really who's become successful in something who wouldn't like to tell people how to get there. You guys are going, how do you start a YouTube channel? How do you do this? Come and speak to them, they'll tell you. On a Sunday, with the Versaces.
Did you hear that?
They'll tell you how to do it. So I'm telling kids, go speak to someone who's been there and ask them how they started from there before they got there. Because
whether somebody in the church or...
Exactly. Find a teacher, a pastor, the youth leader, the businessman, someone positive that you can cling to and speak to and that you can mentor you and walk you through.
Lovely stuff. Thank you so much. I think that is very relevant. That makes a lot of sense. I just want to, before we come to an end, it's so sad, we always hate coming to this part, but I just want to ask you if there's anybody watching today and they would like to invite you to come and be that motivational speaker, to come and do a seminar. You're not giving yourself a number, no?
Yes, please.
No,
Guys. Not 08. No, guys.
An email?
An email address,
It's
yes,
perfectly
please.
fine. I'll put it up.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is how you get hold of me, Hallie. Zane Meas. No. Let's say Hallie. Anyone.
Yeah, anyone.
But should Halle Berry want to get hold of me, you can email me Zane at FFSA, that's Fatherhood Foundation South Africa, .org.za, not .co, .org.za. Zane at FFSA.org.za.
We'll also put that in the description down below. So you
Yeah,
guys
here,
can see.
read this part here, info at ffsa.org.za. That's another. That
There we
comes
go.
post office. Info, Zane, info. Okay.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah.
There you
I have
go.
to edit that and put it both down there now.
Yeah.
So I have to do that.
Am I giving you work?
Yeah, like extra.
Just go.
Like I just have to put it down here. I have to put it here, and there.
Let's go, yeah.
Okay.
Apologize.
What is?
No, it's very easy like that. So guys, we've come to the end of our lovely chat with Zane.
Yes, thank
It
you
was
for having me.
awesome.
This has
awesome
been amazing.
and a privilege. And
I'll come back again. I'll come back.
Well, the
to
guitar
chat.
and the singing
Yes,
and
yes. To do a song from the album.
We didn't add the musician part in, so when he comes again, he'll be in that act.
Yeah, well, you're helping.
Come as
So we can promote his CD, guys.
Yeah. When I do the CD, yeah.
Not a problem, but thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was really great.
Lovely stuff.
Thank you, really. I hope somewhere and somebody out there has been inspired by today's episode, because that's why we do this. And yeah, so guys, we hope you have a wonderful and blessed week from the Versaces and
See
Zane.
you
Peace.
next week on
Peace out.
Sunday.
Peace out.
Bye.
So, Ellie called me. Anisha. Just hold on.
Henny, bel die man.
Lovely stuff.